What's up everybody? Jonathan here with a special one today. We are making escabeche, pickled vegetables with a kick. Now, this isn't just a side dish. This brings crunch, acidity, and heat to any dish that you're making. Tacos, perfect. Carne asada, even better. Straight out of the jar, no judgment. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to make the perfect escabeche. Bright, crunchy, spicy, tangy. Whether you're eating it today or letting it sit for max flavor, this recipe is a game changer. Let's get into it. I'm gonna go through the ingredients for you, okay? We have jalapeño, carrot, piloncillo, fresh thyme, fresh bay leaf, oregano, garlic, onion. Now for the spices, we have cumin seed, coriander, bay leaf, black peppercorn, Mexican oregano, and cloves. And for the vinegars, I like to blend mine. I like apple cider vinegar or any kind of mild vinegar that you have. Pineapple vinegar is good in there. I have white distilled vinegar as well. A little bit of water, and you'll see why, and some neutral oil. I'm using grapeseed right now. You can use olive oil if you want. It's all preference. Again, ingredients change, especially if you see like this. This is one piloncillo here, and this is another. So peppers are going to be spicier. Carrots are going to be sweeter. You know, spices are going to be older. These are all things that you got to think about as a cook and just kind of adjust as you go. We're going to process our jalapeños and our carrots because they take the longest. We're going to salt them after we cut them, macerate them pretty much. And I know a lot of people are going to say maceration's a sin. It's not even illegal. It's just frowned upon, okay? All right, first things first, we're going to process our carrots. I like taking a little towel here and then peeling them over the towel. It's just easier to clean up. And just do this until you're done pretty much. All right, carrots are peeled. And then this is why I like doing it on the towel. It's just easy cleanup. Throw it out, and then we're gonna mandolin these. Let's go. All right, so for mandolining, I like wearing a glove because I learned my lesson years ago as a young cook. Getting the right size is very important. And what we're looking for is basically, I call them surfboards in my recipe, but you get the idea. It's like surfboard, you know what I mean? Surfboard size. I've never surfed, okay? These look awesome already. Those look great. Okay, so that's the surfboard shape. It can be as thin as you want, as thick as you want. Also, if you wanted to put cauliflower in this recipe, definitely do it. Just switch out by weight some of the carrot and some of the jalapeño. Honestly, like if you're looking at this isn't worth your fingers, so just use it for stock. So I know there's a lot of you out there not comfortable using one of these. I totally get it. Believe me, I've been bitten by one many a time. I'm gonna show you how to do it with a knife. It's real simple. So we're gonna take our knives here, just as thin as you can on a bias. Obviously, it's not gonna be as thin. A sharp knife helps. We're not going for perfection, but if you don't wanna use a mandolin, you can totally use just a knife. So carrot is done. I'm gonna get it into a bowl, and I'm gonna start working on my jalapeño. For the jalapeños, okay, what we're looking for these is we're gonna take off the stem, or the pata as we say, with a knife. We're gonna quarter them lengthwise like that. Now, if you don't want them too spicy, you can always try the jalapeño, okay? Not really spicy, very grassy. There's a back end spice for sure. I lied, there's a little spice there. It's not too bad though. That's what we're looking for. Quarter them lengthwise. You can see them if you want. Taste your ingredients, that way you can adjust your recipe. Jalapeños are processed. We're gonna get them into a bowl with our carrots. And the next move is real simple. You're gonna take them and sprinkle some salt on them. Let them sit for about an hour, maybe a little bit more. Think about 3 tablespoons of salt should be enough. So I'm gonna mix this up. We salt these for about an hour plus. I like letting them sit for maybe an hour 30. And all that's gonna do is gonna leach out some of its natural juices, which we don't throw away, that's good flavor. But it just softens it enough so all that vinegar and all that flavor enters all the peppers and all the carrots. Nice little move. Next up, we're gonna julienne some white onion. For this recipe, I wouldn't really use like a sweet onion. White onion, red onion are the iconic onions in Mexican cooking. Got that. Get some of this end piece off here so it just juliennes nicely. If you see some of this here, you can cut it out, no problem. I'm just gonna take this out. Little move here. Cut that part out and you can use the rest of it. You try not to throw things out. Make sure it's nice and clean. Still a little bit left. I'm not too worried about it. There's one. Again, does not have to be perfect. Whew, strong ass onion. All right, onion's done. Into a bowl, and we're gonna start processing the rest of our ingredients. So this next step is optional, but I enjoy the flavor that it gives it. These spices that we're using to flavor our escabeche can totally just go into the blender by themselves and get pureed. But with my dried spices, just toast them a little bit, bring out some of those natural oils. Promise you, it's worth it. Let's get toasting. All right, so over over low heat. We're gonna throw in all our dried spices. So we have black peppercorns, whole cloves, coriander, cumin, Mexican oregano, and some bay leaf, okay? Those are gonna go into a pan and just kind of toast a little bit, get aromatic, immediately remove them, and then we're ready to blend our, I don't know what you would call this, but we're blending them in water and flavoring the escabeche. So let's come up with a name for it. How about that? Okay. So our spices have been toasting for, I don't know, like 30 seconds. This burner goes a little hot, so I can smell them, smell aromatic. As soon as you smell that, take them off like that, get them hanging out, and basically I'm gonna go into a blender with our garlic, our thyme, and a little bit of water, and that's gonna flavor our escabeche, I promise you. So good. Very, very essential for a good escabeche. Our spices are toasted. We're gonna get them into a blender with a little bit of water and puree them till they're generally smooth. Not too smooth. Again, really rustic recipe. All right. Water. Okay. We're gonna blend this up until smooth. That looks great. Now, for this part here, make sure you scrape down the lid because it does kind of end up there. You can also take some extra water and rinse that off and put it in here because, again, the recipe says like 125 grams, and that seems like enough, but we cook like our grandmas on this show. So we're going to rinse that off, and then it's all right, you know? It's not in the recipe. This is instinctual cooking. Make sure you do this. Rinsing it out. All right, so I added a little bit of water into here. I'm going to pour this out. All right. Ooh, is that going to fit? Nailed it. I nailed it. All right, so that's it. That's the recipe. Do you see that? Everything's fine. Everything's fine. So very important. I know in the recipe it says let them kind of hang out, but once in a while you got to help them out a little bit. So you can see that they're releasing some of the moisture already. You just want to like help them out. I like kind of like crushing them a little bit. Not too much because, again, you want this to be crunchy, but just getting your hands in there kind of midway through is like, I don't know, a nice little move. Not totally necessary, but, you know, active cooking. Just be there. All right. It's time to saute our onion. Now, very important, we're not looking for any color on our onion. We just want to kind of soften it, saute it very nicely so it absorbs all the flavor. Again, this is escabeche. We really want it to be crispy, crunchy, and delicious texture. Now, you want a steep-sided pot for this just to generate some steam along the sides here. Very important. You're going to add your oil in. You can add your onions in pretty quickly. You don't have to wait. Nice little sound there. Remember, anytime you're cooking onions, pinch of salt, okay? Building flavors as we go. Now we're gonna let these wilt for a little bit. Man, it smells so good. Now we're gonna add our spice puree into this. Get all of it. And honestly, that bay leaf is so good. It's so fragrant. It's like naturally sweet and earthy. That's what we're smelling a lot of. But again, the thyme's taking over too. Oregano's in there. A lot of good flavors. Sometimes you gotta reload. You see that? Like Val Kilmer in freaking Heat, man. Onions are pretty much where I like them. You're just looking for all that extra water in the water mixture that we put in there to kind of evaporate, and all those spices to concentrate. And then once you start seeing a little bit of sticking in your pan, shut it off. It's done. So the onions are looking great. At this point, I'm going to turn them back on because I had them off while these were continuing to macerate. All right, we're going to pop these into the pot like so. Doing our best. You can use a strainer too, but do your best to leave all that juice, or as much juice as you can down there. Obviously, you can't get all of it. And all the juice that's left over, that's good flavor. We're going to use it in our next step. So we're going to cook these vegetables now for about 8 minutes. But, you know, it varies on your heat level, all that stuff. So, again, just make sure you're paying attention. If it looks like it's burning, it's probably burning. But this recipe has a very low tendency to burn. You're not going to burn this, I promise. I believe in you guys. All right, so the chiles and the carrots are looking like they're just starting to get tender. At this point, I'm going to add all of our fresh herbs into the pot with our garlic as well. Okay. Our white vinegar. Our apple cider vinegar. Okay. Piloncillo, which is pylon-shaped sugar. that is from Mexico, and it's got amazing flavors. Sometimes they put spices in it, but I like piloncillo. You can use brown sugar. And then our reserved chili and carrot juices in there. Again, we don't want to waste anything. We're gonna let this cook for about 8 minutes, around there. We just want to see everything starting to get tender. We'll taste it at that point, adjust it, and honestly, that's about it. This has been cooking for, I don't know, like 4 minutes now, maybe a little longer. I lost track of time, not gonna lie. I'm gonna taste it at this point. This is your time to adjust. So, honestly, doesn't need it. The reason I'm tasting is because ingredients change. Talked about that earlier. Peppers get spicier. Carrots can be sweeter. Piloncillo can be sweeter depending on what you use. Again, the recipes I give are just a guideline. It's up to you to make it your own and make sure it's delicious every step of the way, okay? But for me, this is tasting great. I'm gonna let this cook the rest of the way, shut it off, and at that point, we have escabeche. I'm liking the way the chiles are looking. They look really tender. That side of the pot's super freaking hot. I don't like to cook this too much so they're mushy. I'm liking it. There's still a little bit of like this like forest green in the chile that I like. Some is like airing on olive too. I think that's really, really a good spot to like shut it down, let it cool at room temp, and at that point, you deli it up or put it in a glass container and put it in the fridge. It'll last for a while. In my house, it doesn't last long. I would say like a week, it's good. I haven't really pushed it past longer than 2. Follow your heart. If you feel like you can push it longer than that, is fine. I mean, theoretically, it's got vinegar in it. It's got oil. It's like very well preserved. You could definitely try to push the limits on that, but I don't know. So we're gonna do a little experiment. This escabeche was made about almost a week ago. And this one is the one that we just pulled off the stove right now. So I'm gonna do a little side-by-side taste test. So this one you can see it's beautifully cooked, it's tender, but at the same time it's got a snap to it. There, it just snapped in my hand. Really crispy, tender, spicy, tangy, delicious. A week for me, it's like the perfect marination for this thing. It's so delicious. Now this one, it's a science experiment. We're gonna try it right now. So I can do one of these numbers, but I like the cook on it. Really nice. It's probably just gonna taste like a green chile, no lie. It's hot as hell. So I'm just gonna do a little bit. Texture is really good, but again, that vinegar is just starting to penetrate the jalapeno. It's not where I want it. Good food takes time. Make sure you put this in the fridge, let it hang out. Cool it down at room temp, deli it, fridge, let it marinate overnight, and then serve it. And that's it, homemade escabeche. Trust me, once you make this and keep it in the fridge, you'll wonder why you ever lived without it. If you try this recipe, let me know in the comments what you're putting it on. Tacos, tortas, eating it by itself out of the jar. Again, no judgment. If you like this video and you like what we're doing here, drop a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you'd like to see from me later on. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for the support and everyone that's joined the community. I really appreciate you guys. We're pushing. We want to make more for you guys, but I can't do it without you, so appreciate you. Provecho. Peace. See you on the next one.